Hello everyone, good evening.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Okay, so shall we start? I think many people haven't joined yet. So let me know if you guys have any doubt. Any doubts? Anyone have? If not, then we can proceed. Fine. So yesterday, day before yesterday, right? We have discussed about S3, right? So S3 storage classes we have discussed. There are six classes for the storage S3 storage, right? So we have discussed few storage classes like S3 standard, S3 standard IA, and then S3 glacier and S3 glacier deep archive. Okay, and then intelligent tiering and one joined IA, right? So all of those classes we have discussed. Let me check if I have opened it. Yes, fine. So we have discussed about these storage classes, these six storage classes. Anyone said anything? Sorry. Hello. Okay. Fine. Okay, so six storage classes we have discussed. So as of now, whenever we have created the S3 buckets, at that in that bucket, when whatever the objects we have stored, so all of those objects have used is standard class, right? S3 standard storage class it has used. So we also have seen that when we have created objects like S3 storage, and we have seen that, right? Let me check. Let me show you. At this time only, it won't work that much. It's buffering a lot. Fine. So I don't think we have any buckets. So we need to create the buckets, I think. Okay. I have deleted the buckets. That's why it is there. Okay. Let me create a buckets. Okay. So this name was available. So I'm using the same name. Okay. ACL disable, block all the public access. Just create buckets with the default settings. Fine. So here, let's upload one object and let me show you a few things. Okay, so I have uploaded the objects called this. Okay, and now if you will see here the storage classes, here is standard class. Okay, so basically how we can specify that S3 storage class, how we can use that, right? So basically that we can use using this life cycle policy and life cycle rule. So in S3 we have life cycle rule. Okay, so in S3 we have life cycle rule. So what's the life cycle rule is, first of all, you should enable the versioning for this. Okay. So if you will enable versioning at that time, what it will do, like whenever you will upload the multiple versions of a single file, it will store all of those files, right? So if all those objects will use the same storage class like S3 standard, it will cost you more, it will charge you more, right? So instead of doing that things, what we can do, we can move our previous version of files to another storage class, like we can move it to standard IA, or we can move it to the to glacier or to deep glacier deep archive, right, according to that's need. So whenever, just assume that we have one application file that is called app1, we also can deploy our front end in on our S3 bucket, means our static website we can deploy on S3 bucket. So just assume that I have deployed my app1. Okay, and then after sometimes what I have done, it's a version 1. Now after sometimes I have deployed app 1 only, but the version 2, right? So now if I have deployed the version 2, version 2 will be accessible frequently, but version 1 we will not access it frequently, but we don't want to delete it. Why? Because we need to keep its this version as well for the backup purpose, or if something will happen to the version 2, we can roll out to version 1, right? So because of those reason, we need to store all the versions of applications. So what we can do, we can move this version 1. Now it will be not accessible frequently, right? So we can move it to the IA. After sometimes, if we will deploy version 3 or version 4, we can move this version 1 to Glacier or to Deep Archive. Okay, so we can move these like this. We can move our objects from one storage class to another storage class. Okay, so basically, according to the use at the starting, whatever object you will upload here, that object will be in your in your S3 standard storage class. Okay, so that will always use the S3 storage S3 standard storage class. So basically, to move the object from one storage class to another storage class, we will use here the life cycle rule. Okay, so what this life cycle rule is, let's see here on console itself. Okay, so here let me show you. Here in the management sections you will get this life cycle rule. Okay, so this is your life cycle rule. Let's click on create life cycle rule. Here I will let you know what exactly it is. So here you can provide the name of the rule. I'm giving simply life cycle rule 1. So you can create multiple rules. So I have defined this life cycle rule 1. So here if you want to implement it only for a specific object, you have to apply some filters, like you have to give some specific prefix for your objects. Okay, and I'm applying it to for all the objects. So here what actions you want to do for this life cycle. Okay, to transition current version of object between storage class, what if you want to move your objects from one class to another class, you can use it. Transition non-current non-current version of the objects between storage class, the previous version of the objects, if you want to store it in different class, you can use it. Expire current version of object, if any expired versions of objects will be there that time. Okay, permanently delete non-current version of object, if any object, if you want to delete it. And like if you will, as I said, that if you will enable the MFA delete and all, it will not delete permanently, right? So at that time it will move it to the specific storage class. Okay, delete expired object, delete marker, or incomplete multi-part upload. So what you want, I want to do the transition, I want to move my current versions of objects from one storage class to another storage class. So let's acknowledge it and let's see. So basically we'll not use for the current one, we'll always use mostly we'll use for non-current versions. Okay, so here if you will see how we'll create the lifecycle rule. So first of all, transition current version of object between two storage classes showing, right? So it have selected a standard IA. So what I'm saying, if this object will be not okay, and a minimum is 30 days is required. So give the 30 days. Okay, so just assume that I have stored one object in my S3 bucket and now no one have accessed that till 30 days. Okay, so till 30 days, if no one will access it, at that time automatically this life cycle rule, what it will do, it will move that object from S3 standard to S3 standard IA. You can also add some more transition, like just assume that I want to move it to the Glacier. Okay, so now you have the Glacier flexible retrieval. So here just assume that after 30 days, like after again 90 days. Okay, so if no one will access it for the 30 days, and that time it will move the objects from standard to a standard IA. Again, if no one will access it for next 90 days, right? So at that time it will move it to the Glacier flexible retrieval. Okay, so it will move to the S3 Glacier. Fine, add one more transition here, and I'm giving here the Glacier deep archive. So just assume that here I can provide, if no one will access it for again 90 days, right? Must be at least 90. Okay. So if no one will access it for more 90 days, at that time, it will move to Glacier Deep Archive. So how it will look like, see. This is how your life cycle rule life cycle configuration will look like. Day 0, object uploaded. When the object uploaded, it will be uploaded by default in S3 standard storage class. Okay, day 30, if no one will access it, it will go to the object, move to standard IA. Okay, and for again 90 days, if no one will access, this object will go like it will move to glacier, and after that, again if no one will access for the next 90 days, it will move to deep archive. Okay, so simply it's written like this. Like this, you have to create the lifecycle rule for your S3 buckets and S3 objects. Clear? So I'm not creating it now because I don't have object, and we cannot wait for 30 days or 90 days, right? Because you said you have seen that its minimum time duration is 30 days. Fine. So I'm not giving it, I'm not creating this life cycle rule as of now, but I have shown how to create it. Fine. So here with this topic we have completed S3. So if anyone have any questions, any doubts here in S3, please let me know. Anyone have any doubts?
Neera, can you just briefly tell all the steps again?
Okay, sure. Fine. So basically, this is my buckets. What I want to enable, like I want to create life cycle rule for this particular buckets, so that it will help me for the cost cutting, right? Basically, by moving the object from one storage class to another storage class, if we will not use that object, right? So basically, here you have to go to the management. Here you will get the options called lifecycle configurations, right? You have to click on create lifecycle rule. You have to provide the rule name here. Apply, if you want to apply only for the specific, you can select it. I'm selecting this as of now because I don't have any specific prefix for any object. Okay, so let's select any one of this lifecycle rule actions. See, here we need to decide like in which to which storage class you want to send your object. Okay, like if your object will be not accessible for 30 days, you have to, after 30 days, like till 30 days, your object will be there in your S3 standard storage class only. But after 30 days, it will move to standard IA. You know that standard IA is cheaper than your S3 standard, right? But it will charge you more for the get request for the retrieval of that objects, right? So basically, if you will like again, if anyone will access this standard IA frequently, again it will move to S3 standard. Okay, but again, I have given CST standard IA is also not that much cheaper, right? So basically it's cheaper than your history standard. So what I'm doing, I just want to like if no one will access it for more 90 days, what I want to move it to the S3 glacier. Okay, so S3 glacier, you know that it's much cheaper than your standard IA. So now if no one is accessing, then why we will store it in a standard IA, right? So then we will move it to glacier. Okay, and then again, if no one again will access it for another 90 days, what we'll do, we'll move it to the glacier deep archive. So basically we'll not use in real time 30 days or 90 days, like okay, so we'll give in months, like minimum will give 90 days for this standard IA, and here we will always provide more than 1 year. Okay, so basically this is how you can create this. Simply what you have to do, click on create rule, it will create the rules, and it will implement these rule for all of your objects which is present in your S3 bucket. Fine. So this is how you can create it. Now is it clear?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Mm, what we are going to maintain as per the project. As per the which project? Okay. So we are going to store, like we are going to also, we also can deploy the web page, right? Other than that, if you want to store any kind of data, mostly we'll use for this Terraform state file and to deploy our web page, as well as to store the data like your if you want to store something like image and videos there and for your application, right? So in that case you can use S3 buckets. Okay, in real time, mostly as a DevOps engineers, you will deploy, like you will use this S3 bucket for Terraform state file, as well as to deploy the web application, and mostly that will be done by the application team. You only have to create the bucket and hand over to them. Okay. And one more thing is that to store some images and videos, like for the S3 storage, only for the storage, if you want to use at the time, you can use it. Fine. And also we will use it for like storing the logs and all. Okay. So basically your cloud trail and all, right, all use your S3 buckets only to store the logs, even for the log group and all, right. So to store any type of logs and events, we will always use this S3 buckets. Fine. Mostly for the logs. Okay. Fine. Any other questions, guys? Okay. So if you don't have any doubt, well, we can delete this bucket. Let me delete it. Give me 1 minute. I'm stop sharing my screen. Okay, fine. So I have deleted the S3 buckets. So the next topic which we are going to discuss, that is first we will discuss about the auto scaling group, and then we will discuss about the load balancer. Okay. So in the syllabus they have written it in different modules. Okay. But like we that's all those service like auto scaling group and your load balancer, that comes under the service that is EC2. Okay. So that will comes under this the same service EC2. If you want to create load balancer, if you want to create auto scaling group, you have to go to the EC2 dashboard itself. Okay. So that's why we are learning it here, and after this only we will go for like we will learn one more storage services left, that is EFS. We will see that tomorrow or after completion of this load balancer and auto scaling group. Okay. So first of all, after completion of this auto scaling group and load balancer, your EC2 service will get complete. And after that, we will see IAM, and then only we'll go for the VPC. Okay, fine. So let's see. First of all, we will see auto scaling. Okay, so for the auto scaling also, I have the PPT as well as I have my handwritten notes. So I will share the both. So 1 minute, let me check it. Okay. So here only we have all the notes for the Route 53 and auto scaling group and all, right. So let's discuss it. This is not in sequence, okay? So please don't mind it, and please read it according to the topics itself, okay? So first of all, we will discuss about the auto scaling. So before knowing this, what is auto scaling, we should understand first like what is scaling. Okay. So what is scaling? Could you please let me know? Anyone have any idea what about this?
Increasing the resources or scaling it down, like reducing the resources.
Yes, right. So basically, scaling means nothing but the increasing and decreasing the capacity of any resource. Okay, so just like in case of EC2 instance, like in case of server, just assume that you have one server, and server computer, you can understand like it as a your laptop, right? So what if I want to increase and decrease the capacity? What the exactly things we are going to increase? Basically we are going to increase RAM, CPU, storage. These three major things are there that we have to increase or decrease it, right? So basically people not prefer to decrease it, right? Because in your laptop it's the fixed RAM and fixed CPU you got, and fixed the storage you got, right? But what if you want more storage, right? At that time you will simply like purchase a new drive, or you will simply like purchase a new pen drive or something to store your data. Okay, you will transfer the data somewhere else to the storage device, and you will simply clean your laptop, right? So basically scaling means increasing or decreasing capacity, and in case of server, if we will see, it means increasing and decreasing the capacity of the like RAM, CPU and storage. Fine. So here we have two types of scaling. One is the vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. Okay, so basically we have two type of scaling: horizontal scaling and vertical scaling, right? So what if you want more storage in your laptop? What you will do? What step you will follow? Like can you increase the storage size in your laptop? Can you do that?
Yes.
In,
External hard drive.
yeah, we can add external hard drive, right? In the same laptop you can do. But what if you want to like increase your RAM and CPU? In that case, can you do that? It's not possible. Okay, so RAM and CPU we cannot add in our uh, like laptop or in our server. Okay, so once whenever we purchase it, we will get one RAM and CPU. We cannot add the external RAM, and we cannot add the external CPU now. Okay, so basically in case of storage, what we are doing, there is only one server, and if you want more, like 1 minute. Okay, so just assume that here you have one server. Okay, and on that server itself, if you want more storage, what you are doing at the same server, you are simply adding the external storage, you are connecting it. Okay, so you are adding storage here, external storage you can add it, but within that is in same server. So this is, if you will see, we are adding the capacity to that one server, right? So it means that we are simply scaling it vertically. If you will see, it's increasing the uh, like it's increasing the capacity vertically. Okay, because only one server you have, and we are adding capacity to that only, we are adding resources to that only. Fine. So these kind of scaling, we call it as a vertical scaling. Okay, means if you have mainly sorry, vertical scaling will do in case of database and all. Okay, like will in case of database, you don't want like you want more and more storage, right? So in that case we'll do vertical scaling. So here also in case of RDS and DynamoDB, we'll always do vertical scaling. Okay, so basically this is your vertical scaling. Now what if you want more RAM and CPU, you want to increase capacity of those, right? So in that case you have to do the horizontal scaling. Horizontal scaling means, just assume that you have here one application server now. Okay, so now you have one application server here, and this one application server is like per seconds it can give the response to 100 users. Okay, so just assume that 100 users can access it per seconds. But now your users now your user has been increased, and now uh, like number of users get increased, so you need more RAM and CPU, right? So whenever one user will access your application, they will use some of your RAM and some of your CPU as well, right? That application will use that to give them the response. So basically, if you will see, if the load will be more, at that time the RAM and CPU like you need more, right? So in that case, you need to increase capacity, right? So in that case, what you will do the horizontal scaling. Horizontal scaling means, now I have only one application server. I'll create one more application server here. So this will call like a horizontal scaling. Again the load will increase, again we will create one more server here. Okay, so this is horizontal scaling. Fine. So these are two type of scaling. One is the vertical and one is the horizontal scaling. Now, if you will talk about the AWS EC2, and if you will talk about like here in AWS, we are going to learn the service that is auto scaling. Okay, so auto scaling means automatically it will increase and decrease the capacity. Okay, so here we have one service that is called auto scaling group. Okay, so that we, in short, we will call it as a ASG. Okay, so ASG is nothing but it's auto scaling group. It's nothing but the group of instance. Okay, group of EC2 instance. So basically, your auto scaling group will help you to automatically scale up and scale down. So here we have two terms. Okay, so one is scale up, or we also call it as a scale out. Okay, and one is scale down, and we also call it as a scale in. Okay, so basically scale up means, scale up or scale out means increasing capacity. Scale down and scale in, it means decreasing capacity. Okay, so here auto scaling group will like it will only do the horizontal scaling, as it's going to increase and decrease the number of EC2 instance. So this auto scaling group is nothing but it's a group of instance. Okay, whenever we required more RAM and CPU, it will add one more instance. If we will not require it at that time, it will terminate the EC2 instance. So what the auto scaling group will do, it will scale up and scale down, means it will increase and decrease the capacity of your application servers by adding new instance, or it will decrease it by terminating one EC2 instance. It's like that. Okay, so it's going to do the horizontal scaling. We cannot do vertical scaling in case using the auto scaling group. Okay, so just a minute, let me open the notes. I have the handwritten ones. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is nothing but the same thing as I said, that it's a creating group of EC2 instance that can scale up or down depending on the condition you set. So we are going to set some conditions, and according to that only it's going to add you like it's going to increase and decrease the number of EC2 instance. So we will set some condition. I will let you know how we will set the condition, and what are the policy we can use. Okay, how like the way how we can set the conditions, there are different ways. Okay, so enable elasticity by scaling horizontally through adding or terminating EC2 instance. Okay, so we already have discussed this. Auto scaling ensure that you have the right number of AWS EC2 instance for your need at all time. Like if you have required only two EC2 instance, so auto scaling group will not keep four or five instance. Okay, so see, if you only have required two instance, and now if you have four five instance, so you are paying you are paying more, right? You are paying extra for those three extra EC2 instance, right? So for the cost cutting, it's very helpful to use auto scaling group. Okay, so how many server, how many EC2 instance you required, exactly that is it, that much EC2 instance this auto scaling group will have. Fine. So that will help you for the cost cutting and all. Fine. So these are some auto scaling components like launch configurations, auto scaling group, and scaling policy. As I said that this is very old notes, right? So here the name get changed for this. It's not now the launch configuration, it's launch template. I already have told like in under the EC2 we not have seen the launch template. I said that we will see it in a auto scaling group. Okay, like when we will learn auto scaling, I will explain. I said that, right? So this is not launch configuration, this will be launch template. Okay, so as I said that auto scaling group will add or delete the EC2 instance, right? So just assume that if the auto scaling group want to add one EC2 instance, right, from where it will take the configurations, like which type of EC2 instance it has to select, right? Like whether it has to select T2 micro, T2 medium, or T2 small, right? How it will get to know, as well as which key pair it will use, right? Which security group it will use, okay? Which VPC it will use, like many configurations are there, right? Which volume it will use, how much volume it will take, 8 GB, 10 GB, 30 GB, right? So all of those things, like how we will say it to auto scaling group, right? So for that we'll create here the launch template. So launch template is nothing but it's a template. We will give all the configurations for our EC2 instance there. Using that template, auto scaling group will create its EC2 instance. Okay, so here we will see this launch template, and then we'll have the auto scaling group. Auto scaling group, as I said, that it's nothing but the group of instance, right? So what we will do using this launch template, this auto scaling group, here we will need to only define the group name, group size, like how many EC2 instance you want. Okay, what's the minimum like capacity, what's the maximum capacity, right? Auto scaling group can create maximum, like how many EC2 instance maximum. Okay, what will be the minimum EC2 instance. So we require all of those things. Okay, and the VPC subnets, we will discuss about this, as well as the health check period, means your auto scaling group will also check the health of your EC2 instance. Okay, so that just assume that now I have two instance, and now one of the instance is not working properly, and that is unhealthy, right? So at that time, what the auto scaling group will do, it will terminate that EC2 instance and it will add a new instance in place of that. Fine. So then we have some scaling policy. So scaling policy means how when you want to add one instance, when you want to terminate the instance. Okay, so those condition you have to like set using this scaling policy. You will set those like conditions. Okay, so next, few points we have about the auto scaling group, like what exactly your auto scaling group is going to do and what are the features of that. Okay, what are the features it's going to provide, right? So basically, auto scaling group, it's group of instance, right? So it will create some group of instance. When you will create auto scaling group, at that time you have to specify the agents. Okay, so you have to specify like availability zone where you want to create your instance. Just assume that in Mumbai region we have three AZ, right? So I don't want to create instance in all of those three. I only want to create it in AZ1 and AZ2. That we can specify while creating auto scaling group. Okay, so now like minimum you should have two availability zone you have to select for your auto scaling group. Okay, so basically here you have to select it, and now whenever you will create, like you will select, now I have selected two availability zone, and just assume that I want to create, like I have given the capacity two instance. Okay, so in that case, what this auto scaling group will do, it will always balance your EC2 instance across your availability zone. Okay, it means that if you have two agent, three will be there, like three instance will be there in agent 1 and three instance will be there in agent 2. Just like that, if you will have, like if you will select one more agent, it will distribute across among all those three. Okay, so always your auto scaling group will balance your EC2 instance. Okay, as well as, see, sometimes what we can do, we can create the instance outside, and sometimes we'll add the instance in auto scaling group. Okay, so if you will manually attach your EC2 instance with that auto scaling group, at that time it can cause your imbalancing of your instance, right? So if it will cause imbalancing of, just assume that I have added two instance from outside to auto scaling group. See, if you will create instance through auto scaling group, already it will be balanced. But if you will add any instance from outside, at that time, that can cause you imbalancing of the instance, right? So basically, just assume that I have created two instance outside, or it was belongs to the different uh, group or something. I have detached from there, and I am attaching to this particular uh, group, and these two instances from AJ2. So now if you will see, I have six instance, one like three was there in agent 1 and three was there in agent 2. Now what I have done, I have added two more instance, and that is present in agent 2, right? So basically in that case, what happens, like agent 1 have three and agent 2 have now mm, how much, three, four, two, five, right? Five instance. So it's not balanced, right? So in that case, what this auto scaling group will do, okay, so auto scaling group will first add the instance and then terminate the instance. Okay, so what it will do, first it will do here the plus one, okay, and then it will do here the minus one. Okay, so in case of balancing the EC2 instance, the auto scaling group first it will terminate, first it will add the instance where it is less, and it will terminate the instance later. Okay, so this the sequence you should remember. Somewhere you can get the questions like this. Okay, like basically if you will go for the like your practitioner examinations and all, right, and at that time you can get these small questions. Okay, so basically here if you will see this the things, and in case of balancing it will add first then terminate. Fine. Next thing is that what if your instance is unhealthy, right? So now I have desired capacity of 6, right? I want 6 instance, and 3 are there in aged 1 and 3 are there in aged 2. Now just assume that from aged 1 one instance is not working, it's unhealthy. Your EC2, like your auto scaling group, is going to check the health of instance. Now if it's unhealthy, what it will do, it will first terminate the unhealthy one, and then it will add the new instance, it will replace that instance. Okay, first it will terminate and then it will add. So basically, in case of balancing, first it will add, then terminate. But in case of unhealthy instance, first it will terminate, then it will add. Clear? So these are some features of your auto scaling group. So let me check if any other points are there. Imbalancing EC2 instance, cause of this we already have seen, right? Okay. So auto scaling group can also send you the email notification using the service SNS. So SNS we will learn. Okay. So after some few classes we will learn SNS as well after completion of VPC and CloudFront or something. Okay. So then if you will see, it can send you the email notification. So when we can get the email notification, like whenever the auto scaling group will launch any new instance, or whenever it will terminate any instance. Okay, if it's launching an instance and if it's fail, at that time it can send the email to you, so that the user will get to know, yes, auto scaling group is doing these tasks. If the auto scaling group is adding one instance, the user should know that, right? Because like user is only going to check the prices and all, right? So basically user should know that this auto scaling group has added one more instance. So for that we always should send the email notifications. Okay, so we'll do that. And merging auto scaling group, if you want to merge two auto scaling group, you can only do it using CLI. Okay, you cannot do it using AWS console. Fine. So basically here you have the stain by state. Stain by state, it means like it's kind of just I said like unhealthy instance. So unhealthy instance, what that will do, like unhealthy instance, it's not serving to the users, right? If user is accessing, want to access your application, just assume that you have 3 server here, and all 3 applications server here. If the user will get send the request, so at that time all these servers, like this request can goes to any one of these server, and those servers will get give response to users. If I'm saying that one instance is unhealthy, means that is not giving response to this user, means only these two are getting the load, right? So basically here this is called unhealthy instance, so the request will not goes again to this unhealthy instance. So basically what we can do in case of any updation and all, we will not update all of these instances at once only. Okay, so basically first of all, if we want to configure any one of this server, at that time what we will do, we will mark that particular server as it is in state by state. State by state means this is on, just assume that this server will be on hold, means that will be the request will not goes to this, and that will not serve to the users for some time. After some changes and all, we will again move it to the like active servers. Okay, so in case of a standby state, it will not replace this particular server, and it will not add any new server. Even the load will be more, auto scaling group will not add any more server, because it's also calculate this standby state server. Okay, so basically we have here some policies: scaling policies, predictive policy, and target tracking policy, and schedule policy. Okay, let me explain you few things. Three policies are very important. Predictive is written two times. Okay. Okay. First, we will see here the your policies. Okay, like your auto scaling policies. Fine. So the first policy is target tracking policies. These are important. Target tracking policy, and then you have predictive policy. Okay. Then the third you have schedule policy. And yes, these are only the important one. Let me check it if we have any other. The step scaling and target tracking, step scaling and simple scaling is different. So one, two, three. Yeah, yeah. So these are the main important policies. These three are okay. So most important one is the target tracking policy, which we already which we always set. Okay, for the normal application, we'll always set this target tracking policy. So what this target tracking policy is there? So this target tracking policy is here. Here we'll define some target. Okay, just assume that I want, like I'm defining the CPU percentage use if it will be more than 80%, or if you I'm giving the 75%. Okay, so if just assume that I have bunch of server, right? Here I have bunch of server means I have three application server. Okay, so if each servers crossed 75% utilization of CPU, right? At that time, what I will decide, at that time add one instance. So I can set the condition like that, add one instance. This is the target tracking policy. Okay, means we will specify some specific target. Okay, and at the target, if it will reach the target and if it will cross the target, at that time it will add one more instance. Whatever condition we will give, it will do that. And one more instance we can we will not give only the higher target, we also will provide the lower target. Okay, we will just assume that I'm saying that if the CPU percentage is less than 35%, sorry, less than 30%, at that time terminate one instance. Okay, so here the things you can do, like in the target tracking policy, if you can set a target for increasing, like to add one instance and to terminate one instance. Okay, so all of these servers, if all of these three servers CPU utilizations will be less than 30%, then it will terminate one instance. Okay, so it will always check the average. Okay, any doubts till now? So this is your target tracking policy. So when you will create the auto scaling group, you have to see these things. So anyone have any doubts till now?
No.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. So now we have predictive policy. Okay. Predictive scaling policy. Basically, its name is like scaling policy. Okay. So predictive scaling policy, just I'm giving you some example about the Zomato and Rapido, right? So you can predict in case of Rapido or your Uber or Zomato, in case of Zomato also, right? So if you have seen that at daytime they will get a high load, right? Many peoples will use their application, but at night very less peoples will use their applications, right? If you will see after 11 p.m., mostly few peoples only will use their applications, right? So here in the predictive scaling, what the auto scaling group will do, auto scaling group will understand some pattern. Okay, so how it will understand the patterns, like it will understand patterns like at the daytime it will say for the Rapido. Okay, it's simply looking for the pattern like after 7 a.m. a load is getting increased, and after 11 p.m. load is like it's getting decreased. So if load is getting decreased, it means that it need less server after 11 p.m., but after 7 a.m. it's again need the more server, right? So what in this case of predictive scaling it will do, it will set some time duration, like it will say after 11 p.m., just assume the total number of server we have here, the 5. Okay, so after it simply predicted that after 11 p.m. we only need two server. So what it will do, just after 11 p.m., it will terminate the three servers and it will keep only two servers. Okay. And just before the 7 a.m., it will add those three servers again, and again at the daytime it will become five servers. So like this, it can help you for the cost cutting as well. Okay. So this is your predictive scaling. So basically it will predict the pattern. Okay, it will see the pattern and it will predict when the traffic will be more, when the traffic will be less. So according to that, it will simply create the number of EC2 instance. Clear? Okay. So next thing is that you have the schedule policies. Okay. Schedule scaling policy. So what is the schedule scaling policy is there, right? So let me give you one example of your Flipkart Big Billion Days, or your Amazon sales and all, right? So you know that at the Diwali time, or I think at the Dashera time, they always keep a sale for 10 days or something, right? So just in case of Flipkart Big Billion Days, right? Flipkart Big Billion Days. In case of that, for the 10 days they have decided some specific time duration, right? Just assume that from they want to start it from 1st of May to 10th of May. So they are sure that for these particular periods they are going to like launch some sales and all. So in that case they will get high traffic. Okay. So basically it's simply decided, it's predicted earlier only, like if you will give the sales like at that time, like even if you don't want to purchase anything from Flipkart, you always check the prices and all in within that big billion days time, right? So if you will get a good deal, then you will purchase it, right? So many people's check out their applications. Okay. And many people see their applications like over the day, like every day they will check, every day all those sales days they will check, right? All the big billion days they will like from early morning only they will check all these the prices and all for their products, right? So basically the load will be more. So what we will see, it will decide, like the Flipkart team, they can decide that we can have these many server for this particular time period. So as of now, we know that load will be more. So we need more servers, so that we can schedule the scaling here. So how we can schedule the scaling? What we will say, from just before the 1st of May, 12 p.m. Sorry, 12th a.m. Okay. So just before the 12 a.m. of 1st May, we will increase the number of instance. We will add 10 more server. Okay, well, like whatever the server we required, we'll simply calculate and all, and then we'll say it. Okay, so just assume that we are deciding that we will add 10 servers just before your 1st of May, like just before your 12 a.m. So 1 hour before and 2 hours prior. Okay, or else at your uh, at the 30th April only they will do it, right? So basically they will decide like that, and what they will do, they will schedule it like that this server will this 10 server will stay only till 10th of May. After 10th of May, automatically these servers will get terminated. So in this case, you have to specify some time duration and how many servers you required for that. You will not set any conditions there, like when to terminate, when to add, all of those things. Okay, only the time duration, fixed time schedule you have to provide. So this is your schedule scaling policies. Okay, so is it clear? Anyone have any doubts here?
It is clear.
Okay. Okay, so this is all about your auto scaling group. Now we will see the hands-on about this auto scaling group, and then we will see the load balancer. Okay, so if anyone have any questions, please let me know. Fine. Okay. So first of all, here in this auto scaling group, we already have seen few things. Okay, I'm in this server, right? So it comes under your EC2 service. So let's go to the EC2 service first. I don't know, but the entire day this runs properly, like this work properly, but at this time only it buffer. Fine. Okay. So here you will, under this EC2 service only, you will get the auto scaling group here. Okay, so here you need to create the auto scaling group. Let's see, first of all, before this before creating this auto scaling group, you have to create here the launch templates. Okay, so let's go to the launch template and click on create launch template. So this creating the launch template is just like the launching your EC2 instance. Okay, because all the templates the same configuration we are providing. So here give the name as my template. I'm giving it names directly. It's like my template for ASG. Okay, okay, so I have given the name, and then you can provide any specific version for this particular version description for this particular template. Okay, and then after this, here you have to select your AMI, which AMI you want to use. Okay, so always here we will use our own created AMI, but I'm going to use here the quick start AMI because I don't have any like my AMI. Okay, so let's select it, and here you have to select the instance type. So I'm going to select T2 micro because it's free tier. Okay, here you have to select the key pair. I'm selecting my key pair. Network settings, if you want to provide anything, you can give it. Otherwise, if you want to leave the security groups and all, you can leave it. Okay, so as of now, I'm going to leave it, but in real time, will never leave it. You have to specify the security group, and this security group will only get attached with your each of the EC2 instance, which will be created by your auto scaling group. Okay, so here you will select this EBS volume. So as of now it's taking 8 GB and all, that is sufficient. So I'm not changing anything, and create the launch template from here. So just like launching your instance. So I have created the launch templates. Now if it's created, let me check it. Okay, fine. So it's created. Let's go to the auto scaling group. Now we'll create auto scaling group from here. So click on create auto scaling group here, and the first step you have to provide the auto scaling group name. So just I'm giving the name demo. You need to select here the launch template which you have created. Just select it. These are the details about your launch template, like instance type is T2 micro. Your template launch template name is my template. Okay, so request spot instance, like we are not going to use spot instance for this. We are going to use on demand instance, right? That we have selected. Security group and security group ID is not available. Why? Because we not have selected it. Okay, key pair is there, AMI ID is there, date and all. These are the details about your launch templates. Click on next. Here you have to select the instance launch option. Means here you will select on which VPC you want, on how availability zone which you want, right? As I said that you have to select the availability zone here. So you can select all of this availability zone if you want instance like across all. If you want only two, you can select only two. I'm selecting only two. Okay, now how you want to balance it, balanced based efforts or balanced only. So in balanced based efforts, it will simply check the sizes and all, and it will balance your instance across these availability zone according to the availability and all, right? Otherwise, if you will select balanced all, it in that at that time it will strictly balance it. Means if you have 6 instance, it will give 3 3 like that. Okay, so I have selected this. Click on next. Here you have, if you have load balancer, you can select it. So as of now, we not have learned the load balancer, so I'm leaving it for now. Okay, so next thing is that this VPC lattice and all, just leave it for now. Okay, so you don't require it. Next, health check, it's 300 seconds. It means that 5 minutes, and it's the default one. If you will decrease the time here, it will charge you. Okay, so don't do any changes here. Click on next. Here you have to provide the desired capacity, minimum capacity and maximum capacity. If you will give here the desired capacity 2 or 3, right? So in that case, it will create now the 2 instance. Okay, and minimum capacity you have to provide 1. And why we have to specify the minimum capacity? As I said that we, if we just assume that we are using the target tracking policy. Okay, so I have given the given here the two conditions. 75% means add one instance, 30% of CPU utilizations means terminate one instance. So just assume that you have 3 instances and all of those three have 30% CPU utilization. What it will do? It will terminate one instance. Again for those two, it will become less than 30%. Again it will terminate. Again for one instance also, if it will be less than 30%, then it will terminate all instance, right? Means you will not have your application server. So that is not And then again, if you will any user will want to access your application, that time, that because your application server is only not there, they will be not able to access your application, right? So in that case, we can lose that application. There will be some downtime for that. Because of that reason, we'll always provide minimum capacity. So in real time, always we'll use at least 2 or 3 minimum capacity. So as of now, let's give one. And maximum desired capacity, why we required it, right? So as I have given this, if the traffic will be like, if the CPU utilization will be more than 75%, then add one instance, right? So if we have given like that, just assume that it's a AWS only because of some technical issue or something. If it's like if it will show again and again 75%, so it at that time it can create n number of instance, right? And overnight it can create bill, like a huge bill, right? So because of that reason, we also need to provide here the maximum desired capacity which we need. So because it could be in my budget only, right? So according to our budget, we'll always decide this maximum desired capacity. Fine. So here you have to decide it, and here you have to decide the scaling policy. If you want target tracking policy, you have to select here. Okay. So target value 50, it's giving C. Target tracking policy, CPU utilizations. If you will provide here the 90, it means that 90%. It's like that. Okay. So as of now, I'm going with the no scaling policy. So here from while creating your instance, you only can select this target tracking one. Okay, so let's go with the no policy, and then nothing is there. Click on next. Here, if you want to send the notifications, you have to add here the SNS. So SNS is the email notification service. We will see that later. Okay, so as of now, we don't need to add it. Click on next. Here, if you want any specific tag for your auto scaling group, you can do it and click on next. So it's done. Review it and then create the auto scaling group. Okay, so it's creating the auto scaling group, and now it's updating the capacity. So as of now, I was not having any instance running here, but let's see. It's updating the capacity, right? So it should create two instance because I have given the desired capacity as 2. Okay, so let's see now. Okay, so here if you will see, there is two instance running here. Okay, and these two instance, one instance is there in 1A and one instance is there in 1B. Because I have given desired capacity 2 and I have created it using auto scaling group, right? So that's why it is it's created in both the availability zone 1 1, like it's by in balanced features, like we have balanced feature for auto scaling group, right? Because of that reason. So now if you will just, let's terminate one instance. Okay, so I have given one desired capacity and I have given desired capacity as 2, right? So let's terminate here the instance. So if you will terminate any instance, in place of this instance, it will create one more instance. Why? Because desired capacity is 2 and now it required 2 instance. Okay, so automatically your auto scaling group will create the new instance in place of this. It will take some time, at least like 2 3 minutes. First we'll check like if this instance is to get deleted or not, right? So that it will get to know using that health via that health check process only, right? Okay, so here you can check all the instances here in this instance management. If you will check it, B6 and D6. Let's check it because here it will reflect later. Okay, B6 and D6 is there. It's not okay. Now it's shut down. Let's go and refresh it once. Okay, it's marking it as unhealthy, right? Again, it will create. Let's see. It created one is that 612 that was not available earlier, right? So now if you will go here, let's refresh and let's check if it is showing here. See, more instance it has created. Okay. So this is the things if you want to like detach your your instance from this auto scaling group, what you will do is just go to the instance management, click on this, go to the action. Here you can click on detach. Okay, if you want to like set it as a standby state, you can do it. Okay, so here the things is that like if you will delete any instance, it will create the new instance in place of that. So this is all about this. And if you want automatic scaling, like if you want to set the predictive scaling and schedule scaling in that at that time, you can create the predictive scaling from here. The auto scaling group will predict your applications like load and all everything, and then it will create the scaling. And here you can create the scheduled scaling as well. Fine. So if you want to edit the desired capacity and all, you can also do it. So let me do my desired capacity as well. So in that case, what this auto scaling group will do, it will terminate one instance. Why? Because I have kept the desired capacity one, right? Okay, see, it's shutting down one instance. Fine. So basically, this is how it will work. Monitoring, if you want to monitor something, auto scaling groups and all, right? So it will show here, not the auto scaling, so for the EC2. So for all EC2, it's showing this CPU utilization and all, right? So it's like it will show something. It's not the percentage, I think. You can monitor it. Okay. Now, if you will delete this auto scaling group, all of the instance which has been created by auto scaling group, everything will get deleted. So let's delete it. Okay. So when you will delete here, you will get all these shutting down is there. Okay, so this is how you can create auto scaling group, and this is how you can work with this. Okay, so any doubts here? Anyone have any doubts? It's
No.
clear, right? Okay, fine. So do you guys want to try with this, or shall I continue with the load balancer?
Yeah, we
Okay,
want to try once.
you want to try once. Okay, so please don't take more much time. Okay, I'm giving you 5 minutes. Just take 7 minutes. Okay, so it's 9:08 till 9:15. Please complete it. Okay,
Sure.
try to do it fast. Okay.
Done, Nikita, done.
Okay, everyone done? Okay, fine. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, so let's start with the load balancer. And load balancer is also same as a auto scaling group. Sorry, it's also comes under your EC2 service. Okay, so basically here we have discussed what is auto scaling group. Now, what we have discussed here, like we can have a bunch of we can have multiple instance for one application, right? So now, just assume that you have these three instance, okay, and in on these three instance you have the same application. It means that you should have one DNS, like the domain name, using which you can access your applications from these servers. Okay, so like always what we do, we use IP address and port number to access our application, but in case of single server, right? But if you have the multiple servers, what you will specify here, what you required here, that you required that all whatever the request will comes, the load will be distributed across all of these servers, right? So otherwise, just assume that you have three servers, but after that also all the load, like all the request is coming to server one only, right? So the load will be more, and then it will crash this particular server. So instead of this, if you are using auto scaling group and if you are using multiple servers, so in such cases what we'll do, we will use here the load balancer. Okay, so what's the exact work of this load balancer? It will distribute the load. It means that it will distribute the traffic across multiple targets. Okay, so here we have one terms, that is target. Okay, so target is nothing but the target where it will send the traffic. Okay, so if the request is coming and where it is sending the traffic, if it's sending it to this instance, this is the target. If it is sending to this instance, it's a target. So here we will talk about something called target group. Okay, so load balancer, there we have multiple types of load balancer. We will discuss about that. But first of all, here we need to understand what is target group. So target group is nothing but the target where we are sending the traffic. Okay, where we are routing the traffic. So basically here it can be the it can be the group of instance. Okay, it can be the group of IP address, means if you have any servers outside and then you want to use IPs. Okay, so it can be the group of IP address, it can be the group of auto scaling group. Okay, so you can always route the traffic to group of instance or IP address to particular IP address to particular EC2 sorry auto scaling group, right? So you have multiple options here where you can which you can select for your target. Fine. So here load balancer work is to balance the load across all the instance, across all the auto scaling group, across all the IP address, means all of your servers. Fine. So basically, if you will see here, let me show you here itself. So for this load balancer, this is only here it's written. Fine. So here in your load balancer is nothing but it's an appliance which will distribute your incoming traffic, okay, across multiple targets. So basically here in AWS we call this service as ELB, okay, Elastic Load Balancing. So this basically the appliance which it will provide, that we will call it as a Elastic Load Balancer. Fine. So basically, what is load balancer? I already have explained you. Okay. So it will get the HTTP or HTTPS request and it will route that particular request across multiple targets. Okay. So basically, here we have few types of load balancer. Okay. So here generally we have here the four types of load balancer. Okay, but mostly we will use two load balancer. Okay, so first load balancer, you can see it's an application load balancer. Okay, and the second one, network load balancer, and the third one is the gateway load balancer, and the fourth one, okay, it's a classic load balancer. Okay, so let's discuss about each of the load balancer one by one. Okay, so now application load balancer and network load balancer, these are the load balancer which we are going to use mostly in real time as well. Okay, and the gateway load balancer we will use for the critical applications. Okay, only because it's work like a firewall as well. Okay, so basically we have this classic load balancer, it's previous generation load balancer. Okay, so now nowadays we are not going to use it. Okay, so it's a previous generation load balancer. So few of the features are like it's a combination of application and network load balancers features match here. Okay, but generally will not use it. So I will discuss a few of the features like what is classic load balancer, but we will not see the hands on here. So here we will see the hands on only for the application load balancer and network load balancer. But for the gateway load balancer, we cannot see hands on. Otherwise, my account will get suspended now itself. Okay, so it's chargeable and it will charge you heavily. So basically, we are not going to use gateway load balancer here. We are not going to see the hands on of that. We will discuss only the definition overview of that. Fine. So let's discuss all of these type of load balancer here itself on our console. So for this, you should see here the load balancer sections under EC2. So here, this is the load balancer and this is the target group. Okay, so first of all, if you want to create any of the load balancer, you need to create the target group. Okay, where you want to route the traffic, and then only you have to create the load balancer. So first of all, I we just need to understand. We need to discuss first the types of load balancer. Okay, so first, that's why I just have clicked on this create load balancer so that we can see here the types. So if you will see, this classic load balancer is the previous generation. So here we have two things. Okay, so you know that whenever the request will come from the internet, right, so those will follow, like those will use two protocols, that is http and https, right? So through this two protocol only anyone can send the request, right? But after sending the request, here we have the load balancer. Okay, and here we have the target. Here we have the target. Okay, so here the load balancer will listen the port sorry listen the protocols, that is http and https. So load balancer will get the request through this https and https. But here we have multiple, we can use multiple protocols here in for this target. So it depends which protocol this particular target group will listen. Okay, like whether it will listen http or https, whether it will listen your tls and udp or tcp, right? So if it will listen that, so according to that we will change our app like load balancer. Okay, so according to that there is different types of load balancer. Fine. So basically, if you will go with the classic load balancer, it's the combination of your application and network load balancer. Why I'm saying? Because it will like your targets will listen in HTTP, HTTPS, TCP, and SSL. So all these four protocols are allowed for this classic load balancer, but it will not give you some extra features like application load balancer and extra like very low latency for just like your network load balancer. It will not give the fast features like network load balancer. Okay, so basically because of that reason we'll not use it. So now let's discuss about the application load balancer. So application load balancer, it will listen like it will use the targets will listen the like ports and protocols, that is http and https. Okay, and the network load balancer, it will use the protocols tcp, udp, and tls. Fine. So basically here, and if you will go with the gateway load balancer, it's something it's suppose something called Geneva or something. Okay, so that will through the firewall. So I think the protocols will not matters that much. I haven't used this gateway load balancer. Okay, so basically now let's discuss some differences between application load balancer and network load balancer, because it's a interviewer favorite questions like what is the difference between application load balancer and network load balancer. Okay, so let's discuss it. network load balancer. Fine. So the first difference is that your application load balancer will listen the port protocol, that is HTTP and HTTPS. Fine. And your network load balancer, it will listen on TCP, TCP, UDP, and TLS. Fine. Basic. And the second difference, let's see. Second difference is that application load balancer, it will allow you for the flexible routing, and your network load balancer will not allow for the flexible routing. Okay, and how? Let's see here. The application load balancer, it will be always, if you know about the OSI model, you can understand the layers of OSI model, right? So here on this OSI model, application load balancer will be always, it will be implemented in your application layer. Okay, and your network load balancer, it will be used in your transport layer. So because of this reason, your network load balancer is very fast. Okay, and application load balancer will give some specific features, and I'm explaining you some like very important very important differences between these two. Okay, and that no one will explain you in this much detail, so let me explain you few things. Okay, so just assume that here we have few target groups. Okay, so I have two target group. Target group is nothing but the group of instance, right? The two target group I have, just assume that here I have two instance and here I have three instance. Okay, so here I'm using the load balancer. Just assume that here I'm using, as of now, I'm using network load balancer. Okay, so if it's a network load balancer, just assume that the request is coming from here, like the 60 request has came. Okay, so 60 request has came, so this network load balancer, what it will do, it will distribute this 60 requests across this target group. Okay, so what the network load balancer will do, network load balancer will provide 30 requests to this target group. Okay, and it will provide 30 requests to this target group. Okay, so now if you will see this network load balancer, it's going to distribute the load according to the target group. Okay, it's not able to see how many application server you have here. So load balancer will not have that much permissions, and as it's in transport layer, it cannot see the application servers here. So basically, if you will see here, 30 requests it has given to target group 1 and 30 requests to target group 2. So if you will see, each of these servers got the 10 requests, right? But in case of this target group 2, it's got the 15 requests. So here these two instances have more load than these three instances, right? So basically, in like if you will see, it's not balanced properly. But in case of network load balancer, will do like this only. So basically, this network load balancer always will use with the application load balancer. Okay, I will explain you those things. So but if you will use here the application load balancer, in that case, what the application load balancer will do, application load balancer will count the number of instances within the target group. So it will send the here just like if you have 60, right? Okay, I have given the 51, so I have to divide the 60 divided by 5. Okay, so it will send the 12 requests to here. Sorry, how I'm calculating it, I don't know. Okay, so basically 60 divided by 5 you have to do. Okay, so each of the instance will get 12, so it will get 36, it will get 24. Okay, so it's like that. Fine. So each of the instance will get 12 requests. It's like that. Okay, so basically here, in case of application load balancer, load balancer will route the traffic at the as it's working on application layer, it will manage also the application server, and it will route the traffics directly to the application server. Within the target group also, it can count your number of instance, and it will distribute the distribute the load according to the number of instances present in your target group. not according to the target group numbers. Okay, like not according to the target group, it will distribute the load according to the number of instances present in target group. Fine. So this is the major difference between your application load balancer and network load balancer. Any confusion here? Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, fine. Now, we can see here the hands-on with this application load balancer and network load balancer. And application load balancer also will provide some flexibility, as I said, right? So, what flexibility it will provide, right? The domain name flexibility it will provide. So, not able to. Okay, just assume that you have your applications in two parts. One applications like contain your home page. Just assume that this is your. Okay, so in this target group here you have the servers which have the application that contains home page. Okay, that contain home page. And just assume that you have one more page, and that is the career page. So this is your target group where you have the instance which contain your career page. So both the target group have the different application. And here you have the application load balancer. Okay, so what we can specify, if you are using the application load balancer, in that case you can do it like, just assume that if you are using directly the domain name. Okay, so directly if you will use the DNS, it will directly redirect, this will send the traffic, like if you are using DNS directly, it will send the traffic to the home page. At that time it will open home page. But if you will, instead of DNS only, if you will give just DNS and then / career. Okay, if you will specify, if you will give the domain like this, at that time it will not send it to the this target group one, it will send the traffic to this career page, so that directly you will be able to see the career page, not the home page. Okay, so if you just like, if you will open your any of the company portal, right? So if you will give just like cognizant website if you want to open, so at that time it will open the home page. But if you will give / career or something, the career page domain is different, right? So if you will provide that specific domain, at that time it will open the different page itself, right? Different application itself. So this is how your application load balancer work. Okay, so as this is providing you this much flexibility, if you are using flexible features, if you are using application load balancer. Network load balancer, the same thing which I have explained, it will, that will provide the same. Okay, and that will provide the fast, like that will fastly send the traffic, route the traffic. Because of that reason, will majorly use load balance, network load balancer. Okay, so majorly in real time, what we will do the same application load balancer and all we will use, right? So multiple application load balancer if we have. So on the top of application load balancer, we'll always use network load balancer. Okay, so now the network load balancer will send the traffic to application load balancer, and application load balancer will send it to this. So basically, to make it fast, we'll always do like sometimes we'll do like that. Not in mostly case, but if someone want and afford these two load balancer, at the time we will do that. Okay, so now let's see that see the hands-on 4-hour load balancer. So basically, for those things we need to create two instances. As I said that at least we should have the application server, right? So I'm going to launch here the two instance. Okay, so I'm going to create here the two instance, and in that instance I'm going to deploy my HTTPD server. Okay, without ASG it won't scale up. So instead of the directly, if you are creating number of EC2 instances individually, instead of that you can use auto scaling. Without auto scaling group it will not scale up. Okay, okay, so let me explain few things which I'm going to deploy. Okay, so this is my application. Like if you want to deploy your application, this is my user data which I'm going to use. Okay, so this is one shell script. That's why I started with the shebang operator bin bash. Okay, so sudo su, I'm executing this command to become the root user, and what I'm doing, I'm updating my server, all the packages, and then this is for the Linux 2 version, but we will use Amazon Linux. Okay, if you will not use the command yum update, that is also fine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to install httpd, and then I will start this httpd service. I'm enabling it, and then when you will start this http, like when you will install your httpd, it's nothing but your it will host your web application, right? So after installing this httpd, you can create your index.html file. Okay, so here what I am doing, we are simply creating this index.html file. You know that this sign, it means redirecting the output. So I think you guys know about this, how to redirect output, how to redirect input, right? So basically, here echo command, what it will do, it will print the message, right? So basically, I'm giving one message called hello world from this hostname hyphen f. So this hostname hyphen f, what this command will do, this command will give the private IP address of the server. Okay, and this is required. Why? Because we are going to use load balancer, and we have to know, like we want to know that this request is, like this response is coming from whether server 1 or server 2. That's why we are using this. Okay, and then we are the same thing, this print, where I want to print, I want to print it inside this particular index.html file. So this is the script which I want to use. So I'm sending to you guys. Okay, I'm sending it to you. You can use it as a user data. Fine. So let's copy it and let's launch two instance here. Okay, so I'm going to launch here the two instance. One will be the server 1 and one will be the server 2 with the same configuration. Okay, so let's take it. We will take the Amazon Linux. T2 micro is enough. And then let's select the key pair. And I'm going to enable 80 port number. Why? Because to check that whether my application is running or not, right, properly or not. So for that, I'm going to use this http you have to enable. Okay, so just enable it. Two instance we need. Just click on advanced details, and I'm going to give here my user data. Okay, done. Launch the instance. Okay, let's give the name. One name is server 1. Okay, this is the server 2. Let's check if my application is deployed or not. How we can check? We can check using the IP address. So okay, so if you will give this IP address, let's check if it will open the applications or not. So let's go to the server 2 and just check the same here as well. Okay, so it's giving the application which I have written in index.html, that is hello world from the IP address 173. 173 means it's a private IP of your server 2. And if you will go for the server 1, 197. If you will check it, let's see, it's a 197, so 197 private IP address, right? Now, what you have to do next, create the target group. So using this, these two instances I will take, and I will create one target group here. So let's create a target group. So for both the for network load balancer, you have to create separate target group, and for the application load balancer, the way is different because it will listen the different ports, right? So we need to select here the target type is instance. You can select IP address, you can select lambda, you can also select the application load balancer here. Okay, so basically let's select it, give the target group name here. So I'm selecting here the target group name. If you will use your auto scaling group, you have to select instance itself, and then all the instance you have to select which you have created using auto scaling group. Okay, so I'm giving the name, it says demo ALB. target group. Okay, demo ALB target group, or else just give the ALB target group. Fine, because we are creating it for the application load balancer. So for the application load balancer, always you have to use HTTP or HTTPS. It's also written here. TCP you used for network load balancer. Okay, so it's written Geneva. It will be for your gateway load balancer. Fine. So let's select the HTTP itself, and then default VPC. I have selected this, and here you don't need to select anything. Click on next. Here you need to select the instance which you want to include in your target group. So I want both the instance in same target group. Click on include as pending, and then create the target group. So here your target group has been created, but if it is saying 2 is unused, 0 is unhealthy, and 0 is healthy. So when you will create it, like when you will attach this target group with the load balancer also check the health of your EC2 instance. If it's unhealthy, at that time it will sure, Visali. Sorry. So have you missed any topic? Do I need to repeat anything?
No, ma'am. Currently, you are how to create the target group, right? I can't manage it, so that's why I told.
Okay, target group.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Let me explain it again. Okay. So
No, you.
basically, it's fine, now.
Yes. Again, you will be creating another target group, right?
No, no, I will not create. I will explain you only. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Again, we will create for the network load balancer. Don't worry. So
Okay.
basically, to create target group, just you have to select any target group sections, like which one you have to select, right? Instance. And then I have given the name of target group, right? After that, directly you have provided the VPC and all. Let's give the name at list. Okay. So anything, like you don't need to mention anything. Here you need to select the instance which you want to include in your target group. Click on include as pending, and then click on create target group. It will create it. Okay. Only the like important things that you have to select here: instance, and then here the protocol. If you want to use this target group for application load balancer, you have to use HTTP or HTTPS, because this target group will listen using like via these protocol. If you want to use network load balancer, at that time you have to use these three. These four also you can use. Okay. And if you want to use gateway load balancer, you have to select this. Fine. This is only the important things which is you have to like you need to specify. Okay. So then you have to select instance, and then you have to click on this includes and add as pending below, and then click on create target group. That's it. Okay. So now, when you will create the target group, here you can check the health of your instance. So now basically if you will go, like if you will see the, like if you will attach your target group with the load balancer, at that time, what this, like your load balancer also will check the health of your EC2 instance, each EC2 instance. If any EC2 instance is unhealthy, at that time load balancer will not send the request to that particular instance. Okay. So it will not replace your instance, because that's the work of your auto scaling group, but it will not send the traffic to that instance. So if you have two instances and one is unhealthy, then one instance only will get more load. So as of now, it's not giving any results. Why? Because it's not attached with any load balancer. So let's go with to this load balancer, and let's create one load balancer here. Okay. So I'm going to create here the application load balancer. Let's click on create. This is very slow or something. What? Okay. So I have selected this create application load balancer. Now, if you will see here, you have to give here the name of your load balancer. I'm giving demo ALB. Okay. Here you have two things: internet facing and internal. Internet facing means this load balancer will take the request from outside. Okay, from the internet. And internal means within one network, within one VPC only, it will take the request. We will when we will learn the VPC, then you will get to know. Okay. So it will have some private IP address. So within privately only, just like we can communicate, like if anyone want to communicate with me from outside the classes, that cannot do it, right? So that is internal thing. So basically here also it's internet facing. It means that anyone can send the request from outside via internet. Fine. So this is internet facing. We are using IPv4. Here VPC and all you have to select, and here you have to select the availability zone. So if you will select only these two availability zone, at that time this particular load balancer will send the traffic to these two aged instance only. It cannot send the traffic to this 1C aged instance. Okay, so you have to select, just be sure that you are selecting all the availability zone. Okay, like and if you have created auto scaling group and you have selected only two availability zone, at that time you can select two only. Okay, next we need a security group. So here you need to create one security group. Let's see what exactly permission we need to provide, right? So you need to provide here HTTP and HTTPS. You need to allow both the protocols, because this load balancer is listening on HTTP and HTTPS, right? So basically the request is coming from from internet, so that will use HTTP HTTPS protocol. So in inbound rule you have to add HTTP. Okay, and from anywhere I'm giving, and add one more HTTPS and give here anywhere. Fine. So you have to provide some description, allow HTTP I'm giving. Okay, and the name of this security group is, I'm giving ELB, because same security group we can use for both the network load balancer and application load balancer. So that's why I have given here the ELB, demo ELB security group. So let's create it, because all traffic it's already outbound is already all traffic. So let's create the security group. So here I have created the security group. Let's refresh it from here and now search for this ELB1. So demo ELB which I have created now. Okay, earlier also I had created, so that was there. Remove the default one and add this demo ELB security group. Next, you have the listeners. Listeners means the target group who is going to listen the request. Okay, so basically on which port number we are going to listen the request, as it's a application load balancer, you are going to listen the request from the protocol HTTP and the port number 80. Otherwise you can also select HTTPS if you want only the HTTPS at that time. So we are going to listen it in HTTPS, and the target group you have to select here. Fine. So what this will do, whenever you will get any you will get the request on this via this HTTP, it will send the traffic to ALB target group. This is one listeners. Okay, so then you don't need to do anything. Let's see WAF and all. These are the firewalls and all. We will discuss WAF if we'll have the time. Okay, if we'll have time for our batch to complete, right? So at that time we will discuss it. These are the extra topics. Okay, so basically these are nothing but the firewall. If you want extra security at the time, you can use it. Okay, just see the summary here and then you can click on create load balancer. Okay, so now your load balancer will get create and it will take some time to be active. So okay, so let's wait for 2 minutes. Many people leave the session early only, right? Okay. So status is provisioning, it will show active, and how we will access our application using load balancer, right? So load balancer will provide one domain name. This is the DNS name. Using this, we can access our application. So we'll see it. Let it be active. So how you will do it? You can access it directly from using this domain name. Now if you want, you can like here, if you don't want anyone can access your application directly using this IP address, you can change your security group and don't allow that your HTTP and HTTPS for this particular EC2 instance. Remove that. Okay, so if you will remove that, no one will be able to directly access your application using IP address. Everyone can access it using only this load balancer. Okay, so it's showing this because it's not active yet. Okay, once it will be active, automatically that application will be accessible. Okay, let me refresh if it's active now. That should work now. It's active now. Okay, now if you will see, you will be able to access this. So now it's 173. Let's refresh it. 197, 173, 197, 173. So it's an application load balancer. That's why the one request is sending to server 1, one request is sending to server 2. Okay, again, this third request is sending to server 1, then fourth request sending to server 2. So it's balancing the request like this. If you will be able to see this, IP is getting changed, right? 173, 197, again it's 173, then 197. Fine. So this is how your application load balancer work. One more thing is there, I said that it will provide you some flexibility to change if you have different page and different target groups, and if you want to change some, if you will do something change in your this domain name, at that time it should open the different application, right? Different target group. So as of now I cannot create the different target group and I cannot show the proper things here, but I will show how to do it, and few more options are there. Okay, we can do it. So now if you want to set those kind of rule, you have to search for here the listeners and rules within this application load balancer. So here you will see one rule is there, right? Just click on this rule and let's change the rule. Okay, so we will add one rule here. So here we have one default rule, that is if no other rule will applies, then forward it to target group. So now if you will add the rule here, you have to add some rules. Okay, so here you need to add some conditions. Okay, so in this condition you need to set like how you want to specify the rule. I'm simply selecting here the path. Okay, and path I'm giving here the error. Okay, so I'm simply giving some name, and because I will give some specific and error message. Okay, so just simply I'm giving one example. So what it will do, if you will provide a hyphen error, it will open some another page. Okay, so as of now it will open it like this is not available or something. Okay, so now I have given this path and let's confirm. So this is the condition. So now we have to also set the this is the conditions, then we also have to set the action here, right? If that condition will match, at the time what you will do. So basically here you can select the different target group. Okay, and you also can redirect to the different URL. If you have the different URL, you have to simply give here that URL in this part pattern. Okay, so what I'm doing now, I'm simply going to return some a fixed response. So let's select something. Let's copy few things here. I think I'll get it from here, or any. I'm simply looking for some codes and all, right? So let me check. Okay, from here we can get some content. Okay, it will ask me to download. Fine, here we will get. So what I want, I'm going to give this particular response. Okay, otherwise you can give any message. Okay, so let me give this here. So what this will do, whenever I will give / error, it will open this particular response body. It will show the fixed response. If you want to redirect to URL, if you want to redirect to another target group, you can do it. As of now, we are doing it. Okay, so what it's saying, if the path pattern is / error, then it will give this particular response body. And if there will be no other rule apply, then it will forward it to the target group, like ALB target group. So click on next. Okay, sorry, priority you have to specify here. So just the rule priority. Okay, so here this particular last default is always last. Okay, so you can give any priority number. If you have multiple rules at the time, you can specify the priorities here. Okay, so click on next and click on create. So it's get created, and now if you will, let's refresh it and let's go to the demo ALB. It's active itself, right? So now let's refresh this again. See, it's giving you the fixed response which we have copied from here. If you will see the same one. Okay. So now if you will remove this hyphen error, if you will remove hyphen error and if you will directly give the domain name, it's opening your application. If you will given here the error, it's opening your fixed response. So this is how it will work. Okay, this is how your application load balancer will work. So basically, if you want to delete your load balancer, first delete your load balancer, then delete the target group, and then delete your EC2 instance. Okay, this is the sequence to delete it. You can delete target group first, you can delete your instance first, but if you will delete in this sequence, you will not forget to delete anything. Okay, so anyone have any doubts, or can I proceed with the deletion? Okay, no doubts, right? Okay, fine. Fine, then I'm raising the poll, and here I'm deleting it. Okay, so don't leave, but just vote it, and then you can stay. And like I'm explaining you, if you want to delete it, directly go to the action and delete the load balancer. I know deletion is easy for everyone, but after that also, I just please see it. Okay, it's done. Then the target group we need to delete. See, network load balancer we will see tomorrow. Okay. That's why I'm deleting everything, even the target group. Otherwise, same target group we can use for network load balancer. Okay. It's terminating the instance. Fine. So here we're done with the application load balancer. Next, we need to see the network load balancer, and then we'll complete with the EC2 service. Okay, and EC2 service is like it's going to complete. So if you guys will have any doubts, you can come with your doubt tomorrow. Okay, first half an hour we can discuss the doubts, we can clear the doubts, and then we can proceed with the next topic, IAM or VPC. Okay, so most probably we will start with IAM. Let me check that. Okay, fine. So everyone have done with this. I think few people's not have done yet. Okay, if you have done, then you can leave
Could
this
you please share the whole curriculum
notes, right?
notes and core curriculum as well?
Okay. Sure. Could you please ask with the host, like, to share the syllabus?
Okay,
I think it's already uploaded. Just check with the host. Okay.
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 Thank you.
Okay, fine. Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, sure, Hemant. You can ask. Tell me. Are you there? Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Okay, then bye.